was becoming faster and louder. But in the quiet corners of their little sanctuary, time seemed to stand still. They were three, but they were one. They were a crowd, but they were never lonely. And as the kisses of hers and his echoed in the quiet night air, they knew that no matter where the future took them, they would always have the rendezvous. They would always have apartment 201. Tree's Company 2. Chapter 27, The TV Star and the Omelet. Jack's culinary skills finally earned him a spot on a local morning talk show, Santa Monica Sunrise, for a segment on the perfect 3-egg omelet. "This is it," Jack shouted, adjusting his chef's talkway in the living room mirror. "I'll be the next Julia Child, only younger, and with better legs. Jack, just remember not to look at the red light on the camera," Shauna warned. "You always get that deer in the headlights look when people stare at you too much." "I'll be fine," Jack insisted. "I've practiced flipping this omelet 50 times. The morning of the broadcast, the studio was a hive of activity. Jack was introduced by the host, a woman named Misty Mornings, who had hair so sprayed with lacquer it could probably survive a nuclear blast. And now, let's welcome Chef Jack Tripper, who is going to show us how to make something exciting." Misty beamed. Jack started well. He cracked the eggs with one hand, whisked them with flair, and poured them into the hot pan. But as he prepared for the legendary flip, he caught sight of Jeanne and Chrissy waving frantically from behind the cameraman. He flipped. The omelet soared. It missed the pan. It landed squarely on Misty Morning's lacquered hair, where it stuck like a yellow, steaming fascinator. "Oh, my God," Misty whispered, her eyes wide with shock. The camera stayed on them. Jack, realizing he was still on live television, didn't panic. He grabbed a parsley sprig from the garnished tray and delicately tucked it into the omelet on Misty's head. "And that," Jack said, looking directly into the lens, "is how we create the breakfast bonnet. It's the latest trend in functional fashion." The studio audience erupted in laughter. Misty, showing she was a pro, laughed too. Jack didn't become a TV star that day, but he did get a coupon for a free haircut from Misty's salon and a permanent ban from the studio kitchen. Chapter 28, The Return of the Old Flame. The doorbell of apartment 201 rang at 10 p.m. on a Friday. Standing there was a woman in a trench coat, holding a suitcase and looking like a character from a film noir. "Jack?" she asked, her voice a smoky whisper. "Linda." Jack's jaw dropped. Linda was Jack's ex-girlfriend from his Navy days, a woman who defined the word unpredictable. She had once convinced Jack to help her liberate a goat from a petting zoo, an incident that had nearly cost him his promotion to cook. "I need a place to stay," Linda said, pushing past him. "The circus. Well, the circus is in town, and I'm between acts." "Acts? What acts?" Jana asked, emerging from her room. I'm a fire swallower, Linda said, sitting on the couch and lighting a cigarette with a flick of her wrist. But I'm currently looking for something with less heartburn. For 3 days, the apartment was transformed into a carnival. There were juggling clubs on the coffee table, a unicycle in the hallway, and the constant smell of kerosene. Linda was charming, loud, and completely oblivious to the fact that she was living with 2 other women. So, Jack, Linda said at dinner, leaning in close, "How's the condition? Does the landlord still think you're a friend of Dorothy?" "SHHH," Jack hissed, looking at the door. He could be anywhere. The crisis came when Stanley Roper walked in to investigate a report of smoke from the hallway. He found Linda practicing her fire-breathing technique in the middle of the living room. "Fire! Fire in 201! Tripper, I knew you'd burn this place down eventually," Stanley yelled, grabbing a seltzer bottle from the counter and spraying Linda. "Hey, that's my lunch," Linda yelled, dripping with carbonated water. "Who is this woman?" Stanley demanded. "She's my sister," Jack blurted out. "The one from the circus. She's very devout. She's practicing her inner light. She smells like a gas station," Stanley grumbled. Linda left that night, decided she preferred the company of a sword swallower she'd met at the pier. But as she walked out, she whispered to Jack, "You've got a good setup here, kid. Don't blow it. And tell the blonde she should try the trapeze. She's got the balance of a squirrel." Chapter 29, The Jazzercise Craze. It was 1978, and a new phenomenon was sweeping the nation. Jazzercise. Chrissy was the first to fall under its spell. It's exercise, but with music. Chrissy cheered, wearing a neon green leotard and leg warmers that looked like they belonged on a poodle. 1, 2, 3, and kick. 1, 2, 3, and stretch. "Chrissy, you're shaking the floorboards," Shauna complained, trying to read her book. "Stanley's going to think we're having a riot." "Join me, Shauna. It's for the glutes. We want our glutes to be glorious." Jack, ever the opportunist, decided to become a certified jazzercise instructor to meet the women in the local class. He bought a headband that was too tight and a pair of shorts that were, well, very 1978. "I call it the Tripper technique," Jack said, demonstrating a move that looked suspiciously like someone trying to escape a swarm of bees. "It's high energy. It's rhythmic. It's mostly about the breathing." The classes were held in the living room. 12 women, all in brightly colored spandex, followed Jack's lead while a disco version of Stayin' Alive blared from the radio. The inevitable happened when Stanley Roper, attracted by the thumping music, poked his head in. "What is this? A gymnasium?" Stanley asked, staring at the sea of spandex. It's a seminar on posture," Jack yelled over the music. "For the visually impaired. They look perfectly sighted to me," Stanley said, his eyes lingering a bit too long on